Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Mixed Signals. You guys, today I'm going to piggyback off of the Truth is in the Pattern of Contradiction video I did. And I'm going to do a little story time today. I want to talk to you guys and go a little bit in depth about how these people with these disorders will guilt trip you just because they're not getting what they want. These people see you as their only resource. They see you as their savior of situations, their hero of everything, their mother that they didn't have, their father that they didn't have, their therapist, their mediator, their long lost sibling. They love being like, hey sis, hey cousin, hey best friend. That's them. Not all of them, but that's how they talk to you. Now, I'll call this girl Macy. So, Macy and I knew each other at this time for about 3 years, and our birthdays were about, I would say, a week and a half apart. Where for my birthday, Macy, she didn't have a job, she didn't go to school. All she would do was kind of sit at home and smoke that green and wait for her boyfriend to get home, and yeah, that's about it. So that they could go shopping afterwards and spend all of his check because they lived with his parents. Um, I didn't have the luxury, right? I worked 2 jobs and went to school full time. So I didn't really have time to kick it. So all Macy could afford to get me for my birthday was like an IOU after I have my birthday and my birthday card money comes in. And a card of like, hey, you're my best friend and I love you and everything, whatever, that sounds great. I was a little annoyed by the gift because she was a pretty creative person, and I thought you couldn't come up with anything, like drawing a picture, making something, I mean, anything. So I was a little annoyed by that, but I was like, oh, obviously she didn't really care, let alone she got my birth date wrong. You guys, and this is something these people do. It's not serious to them. Your birthday, your day, that is like nothing for them, right? Um, she thought my birthday was on the 8th when it was the 6th. So anyway, for her birthday though, she reminded me constantly for like a month leading up to it that her friends were getting her a party bus and they've got her wristbands to all these bars. They've made reservations at one of the nicer restaurants in this downtown area. And, if I'm not there, I'm going to ruin her birthday. And, I had let her know, like, girl, I work 2 jobs and go to school full time. I'm not going to make it. We can meet up afterwards and do coffee and do our normal, like, hangout session or whatever, but go for our walk or do some shopping. But girl, I can't. Like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not staying out until 2, 3 in the morning when I have to get up the next day and go to work. So up until her birthday though, it was guilt trip after guilt trip and guilt trip and you're supposed to be my best friend and Nicola, you're supposed to be this and you're that to me and I don't really care if all these people go. And I'm like, well, you should care. They got you a party bus and they got you reservations, wristbands, and like, you should care. I'm like, I'm not doing none of that. Like, I don't have time for all that. Like, my birthday's not going to be the same without you. Lies. So the next day I meet up with her before I have to go to work and bring her coffee. And I'm like, how was it? Tell me about your birthday, and call Macy. And Macy's like, oh, it was the best birthday I've ever had in my life. It was so amazing. I was surrounded by people that love me. And first thing we did was get on the party bus. And there was a whole other, like party going on. Like 2 people had rented it or whatever, I guess. And she was like, some of my friends knew them from high school. And they, everyone's singing happy birthday to me. And everybody's just making me feel so special. And it was the best birthday ever. We get downtown and we're getting into all the nightclubs for free, and we're just the DJ's playing the music that I want to hear, and I'm getting all the drinks, and just my friends are making everything about me, and just when it's the best, like it's the best birthday ever. And she's just like repeating over and over and over, where I'm like, oh, awesome. well, how'd the night end? She's like, oh, we went and had an after party at my friend's house, and our boyfriends ended up coming and meeting up with us. And well, we didn't make it out to dinner because something happened with the reservation, but that was okay because we were all feeling like lit by the time, and we just ordered pizza. And I was like, that sounds pretty chill. That sounds like a good birthday. And she's like, it was amazing, the best ever. Like, too bad you couldn't be there. Like, girl, I wish you didn't have to work as much. I'm like, well, I have to. I don't just have the luxury to just sit at home. Yeah. Um, Let that sink in. So, like 2 weeks later, we celebrate our birthdays together, and I'm going to pick up Macy from her house. And Macy is just like in this mood, like just negative, just like, ugh, nasty, just low energy. And I'm like, girl, get your energy up before we go out. I don't want to be around this. And she was like, can you believe what Michelle did out of nowhere? And I'm like, what? I was like, come on, get your stuff. Come on, you told me you were ready, and I'm here. Like, let's go. I'm trying to go get lunch. She's like, can you believe what Michelle did? I'm like, what? The girl for your birthday party? And she's like, yeah, well, she's getting ready to get married. I went down for a fitting for her bridal party. She was like, and she totally made me feel like a broke bee, like I had to pay $150 right then and there. I didn't have the money. She knows I don't work. Like, we couldn't just come up with that. And I'm all, well, why did you go? She's like, because I thought we were just doing fittings. And then she says to me, well, I was trying to try on some wedding dresses as well at your friend's bridal. Girl, I was like, well, that's not weird. Like, come on, girl, and I'm like, come on, girl, let's go. I don't, like, who cares? Like, oh, well, get over it. And then she's like so upset. She's now sitting down. Her legs are crossed and they're like moving all crazy. And I'm like, are you good? She's like, I'm just so irritated. I don't even want to go anywhere. And I'm like, what? I was like, why? Because you didn't have the money to buy a dress? Who cares? Oh, well. She's like, I'm not even going to be in her wedding. You want to know why? Because she ruined my birthday party. Guys, watch this. This is why, okay, they try and guilt trip you. And it comes out. Always the truth will come out. The contradiction will come out. She goes, you know what Michelle did at my birthday? From the moment I got on that party bus, she knew these people from high school. They used to have problems. They made amends. She was already drunk by the time she was on the bus. She's partying with them. All my friends were partying with them. They were leaving me out. I was just sitting by myself. Like, I was almost in tears. I'm all, what? Right? Because I'm remembering what she had said to me, how they were all partying and having a good time. She goes, we went to the clubs. We only got to go to 2 clubs because the wristband wasn't working anywhere else. And it's because she knew the people at the door. And I'm all, oh, okay. So she only got it to 2 clubs. She's like, no, it's because they only, gave her the wristband for these 2 clubs. And I'm like, oh, so she lied. She's like, yeah. It was terrible. It was all about her, and all my friends didn't care about me. They basically left me by myself. I was like, well, I thought you were getting free drinks the whole time. She was like, yeah, well, we were all drinking off of each other's drinks. They weren't really buying it for me. And I'm like, whoa, Macy, that's not what you told me before. What you told me was they were doing everything. It's the best birthday ever. What happened to that? She was like, anyway, and just waves me off. And I'm like, listen, you're the one who lied. I said, you're doing all this complaining to me. I wasn't even there. I don't even care. And she's going off about how she hates these people. And then she says at the end of the night that the boyfriends met up with her, and Michelle and her boyfriend were having a screaming match downtown across the street from each other. Scream like you calling each other O, an S, W, like the nastiest stuff that you could call somebody. And these people had kids together and going back to the same house. So I'm like, what? I said, why didn't you tell me this from the beginning? She was like, I'm not done yet. And then we go and we have to drop everybody off, obviously, and like they're screaming at each other. The cops are getting called. It was just the worst birthday ever, Nikki. It was just the worst birthday ever, Nick. I don't know what I'm gonna do, and now I can't go to her wedding because she made fun of me, and I just wanted to try on a wedding dress, and I can't afford to do. And she's just going off to where I'm like, this is not what you told me. What you told me was everything was perfect, great, best thing ever. Like, girl, you were literally guilt tripping me. Guys, I was like, if you wave me off again, I'm not going to talk to you. She's like, I don't mean to, but she's like, you're interrupting my story. You're interrupting what you lied about. You guys, and here it is that these people don't care. Like I said, you are their therapist, their mediator. You are all their resources. You don't get to remind them of the truth. You don't get to remind them of their lies. You don't get to remind them that, oh, I'm listening and I heard what you said and that doesn't match what you're saying today. That's not what you're there for. Okay? You're a sounding board to them. All right, I hope this whole story helps somebody. Bye.